Hi, I am Dr. Kanika. Thanks so much for joining me. Today is a really, really special day. I'm here with a special guest, Jai Stone. Today, we are going to talk about my website launch. But first, I know most of you know me, but for those of you who may not, I'm Dr. Kanika. I'm a board certified internal medicine doctor. I am also a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant. I do diversity strategy, implicit bias trainings, anti-racist trainings. I also do diversity strategy implementation for organizations who are committed to creating and leveraging opportunities for communities of color. So I am here, as I said, today with Jai Stone, where we're going to talk about my new website. So for the past year, I've been working with medical moguls. It's the Medical Moguls Academy, and it's for physicians who are looking to make an impact beyond the exam room. And so, as those of you know, I'm super passionate about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so for this past year, that's what I've been working on. So Jay and I are going to chat with you, let you know a little bit more about what I've been doing, what I hope to do in the future, and what I hope to be able to do for you. So I'm going to let Jay introduce herself. I will tell you, she is my brand strategist. She's the one who saw my vision, took my vision, and helped me put it in a space where it would hopefully resonate with all of you so that you could see me outside of the exam room and see me in this new space. So Jay, thank you so much for joining me.
Okay, so thank you first of all for having me. It's been such an honor to work with you, to help you breathe life into your new baby, right? Your new baby. Shout out to the Medical Moguls Academy and Dr. Dre for all the work that they've done to help you move to the next level. My name is Jai Stone. I'm a master brand strategist, and I help people create brands that expand their reach, increase their impact and their income. Okay, in a nutshell. So let's talk about Dr. Kanika. So here's the thing that's wonderful about you. You come to the table with how many years of medical experience, right?
Oh my goodness. I graduated from medical school in 2005. So it's been quite a bit. I can't believe, what is that?
A little minute, right?
Yeah.
a little minute, as they say on TikTok, a little minute, right?
Right. Don't make me do the math. Don't make me do the math.
Right. Okay. So you've been out there for a long time, but you've always had this burning desire to see more diversity and inclusion in the medical corporate spaces, right? Tell me where you felt that desire came from.
Well, I will tell you, growing up as I grew up, I always knew I wanted to help people. And then coming through this space as a hospital medicine doctor, you really start to see that there's so many inequities within the healthcare space. And so for me, working in various hospitals, I would see that there were some patients who received everything, and there were some patients who did not. And so I became committed to making sure that all of my patients received the same level of care, no matter what their socioeconomic status was. And so that's what moved me into working for a safety net hospital, where I could make sure that I was providing quality healthcare, no matter whether you could afford it or not.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And I think that that's important, right? I think that the work you do is so important. And I think now in this, they say post-pandemic, but I'm not sure it's post just yet, right? In this post-pandemic era, I think that it's more important than ever for us to see inclusion, representation, on both sides of the hospital bed, right? So you came to me, right, after you went through the Medical Moguls, and we sat down and we had some conversations, and we talked about what your passion is. And I have to say this, right? I have to say this. Your passion was evident to me from our very, very first meeting. Where does that passion come from?
So I've always been an advocate. When I was in college, I wanted to be Angela Davis. And then back then I was like, oh, I missed the civil rights movement. Like, there's no space for this, right? And then look at here, I realized that, okay, there's still space and there's still work to be done. And so the passion really came from looking at patients who are suffering from really poor health outcomes. And so health equity was a really, really big thing. And then the more you do, so of course I have a public health background, and in public health, you always go to the root cause. And if you go to the root cause of poor health outcomes, what you see is that low socioeconomic status, low education attainment is, correlates with poor health outcomes. And so what I recognize is if I really, really wanted to get to the root cause of this, and like I said, going back to my public health background, I knew I would need to leave the bedside and go into the conference room, go into the community where I could really, really positively impact some of these drivers that were leading to the poor health outcomes.
All right, let me just say this, right? Stop the presses. We're gonna stop this whole thing. I want to apologize to the people for playing in my hair and all of this if it's distracting because it's new hair and it be in my face. I'm over here all on stuff. So I just want people to apologize in advance. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't mean to be rude. Anyway, back to the regular schedule show. Dr. Kanika, let's talk about what we've created for you. So I'm super, super proud because one of the things that happens when we are creating a great brand, right, is one, to represent the representative, which in this case is Dr. Kanika, right? Something that you're comfortable with that speaks to you. But more importantly, does it resonate with the audience that you are trying to reach? So that being said, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share some files with you. Okay. And we're going to start out with where we started out, right? So we started out with just what we called a brand blueprint, where we sat down and we looked at, who you wanted to be as a brand. What did you want your brand colors to be? How did you want to show up? So the first thing that I think that we did was we put together a, a style board, right? We wanted to represent you as a doctor. And so these were the images that we decided to come up with that kind of felt like how you wanted to show up, right? What the natural hair, the natural makeup, those things are just genuinely you, right? And then we decided what you wanted for a professional look. And these were just ideas. These were not your colors. These were just what we wanted you to show, how we wanted you to show up, and even a casual look. So we wanted people to see you, be able to see themselves or someone that they could relate to in your imagery. And then here is where we landed with your images. And what I want to show people is when we show you, okay, in your lab coat, I'm gonna make this bigger so you can see. And give it a second. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So when we go show, this is what you look like in the hospital in your lab coat. But one of the other things that we have to show is the diversity in who you are, right? So lab coat, but then let's talk about what you might look at like if you showed up at an after 5 event or gala, or maybe even a speaking engagement, right? Yeah. One of the things, you have an amazing smile. You have an amazing sense of how to accessorize what you wear, as you can see with that beautiful necklace you're wearing today. So more of your personality came out, more fun, more playfulness. Look at this hair, sis. Look at this hair, sis, right? Mm-hmm. So that was important to bring that out. Here's one of my favorite photos. I don't know, like if it was you or the photographer that peaked this angle, but the double vision here, stunning, gorgeous. Also with jewelry that kind of goes in an Afrocentric style or tribal look. Mm-hmm. And I think that speaks to a person who's open and diverse. All right. And then we went with one more look, right? A couple more looks, actually, something more playful. Look at this, right? Stunning. This is what you might look like on just a regular, office day, Friday, casual Friday or something like that, right? But here's some of my favorite. I'm going to show this one because we didn't talk about this one, but some of what you do, as your side gig is you do Airbnb properties, right? So I thought it was super cool for us to show that side of your personality where it's just, I wear many hats in my life.
Right.
So I think that this was super important for you. And again, a lot of this energy and personality and stunning. So that's where we went with the photos, but the photos definitely set us up because we chose your brand colors in the blueprint session. And then
Yes.
we go directly into the photo shoot. What was the photo shoot like for you, Dr. Kanika? Having
Ooh,
a photo shoot. What was that experience like for you?
a little stressful because I will say, as a doctor, I've spent how many years studying. So the whole makeup, glam, getting all glamorous is not really, really my thing. But it was also a lot of fun. It was fun to work with a makeup artist, a hairstylist, a photographer, going to all of these spaces and just knowing that this was my opportunity to show myself in a different light, but to also show myself in the multifaceted way that hopefully would resonate with the people I'll be working with.
And I think that it's important, right? I think that a lot of times as professionals, we want to stay in a box where we're comfortable. We want to check that professional box. I want to stay professional. But when it comes to building your own brand, you also have to be personal because it's not only about the DEI people, right? It's also about the media being able to book you. It's also about people who want to see you speak on stage. They're going to go to your site and say, hey, she looks exciting, or she looks boring, or she looks like my people will like her, right? And so
Mhm.
we had to sell who you are to several people. So we had to bring you out of your shell a little bit. Because the truth of the matter is, if it's a Saturday night, you know what I'm saying? You're at cocktails with your girlfriend. Who are you? That's the person people want to be,
Right,
right?
right.
That's the
Mhm.
person people want to be. All right. Okay, so let's get back at it. And so that's where we landed with the photos. And then we went right into what we call the logo phase. So here's where we landed with your brand colors, right? We gave you some blue because the psychology behind blue is building trust, right? We
Right.
also gave you some neutral tones, right? That were comfortable for you. You like a lot of neutrals and nudes, and that works. So we gave you something that worked with that, right? And then we also gave you a brighter, more vibrant blue that we know is going to get the attention of corporate America and people that are more creative. And green is about not only health and wellness, it's about money. And we're trying to get them coins, 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 money, 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 right? And one of the things you wanted was you wanted to represent femininity, right?
Yes.
Wanted to come across as being feminine because that's another disparity, right? Women in the healthcare.
Absolutely. Yes.
So we wanted to step into femininity, but by the same token, we needed to appeal to corporate people. So we gave you a logo that's a good mix of feminine and corporate. Okay. And that's
Mhm.
kind of where we ended up here. All right. For your colors. Now let's talk about your social media. So, one of the main ways to build your brand in this era is to focus on building a social media following. And I know you guys are thinking social media, right? How did you feel when you first realized that you was gonna have to be on social media besides posting pictures of your kids? What was that like for you to like have that realization that I've got to put myself out front?
Well, I will say you're right. As a professional, we tend to think that TikTok and Instagram is for like all those creatives and, people out there who are just, playing around. You don't think of it as something that professionals do. But quick story, I needed to see a doctor for uterine fibroids. And I was like, who do I go see? So I asked a girlfriend of mine who is a doctor, and she was like, well, there's this lady on IG. I don't know her, but she shows these surgeries. She has a lot of content. I think she might be great. I go to see her, and she trained at Morehouse. She was absolutely wonderful. Her office was fantastic. And I was like, wait a minute. I found this chick on IG. I'm a doctor who found a doctor on IG, and I went to go and see her. And so it just made me realize that putting myself in social media, there's just such a need and a desire for information. And so there's space for people who are doing the funny dances, but there's also space for people who to share information with the public. And so I think as a physician, especially as a diversity, equity, and inclusion strategist, I have to be willing to go to where the people are. And so that is what social media for me now is. It's a platform just to share, my ideas, my talents. So yeah, so it took some getting used to though.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it, right? We are now looking at digital doctors, right? So you've got people that are getting clients and leads from Instagram and TikTok, and then you've also got the folks that are doing telehealth, right? As opportunities. So that there's that. And I remember like a few months ago, I was opening Amazon boxes. Don't judge me, right? I was opening Amazon boxes and I cut my finger and it was just a paper cut, right? And it was right under my nail bed. And then fast forward maybe 3, 4 days, the thumb started to itch and hurt and swell up. And it turns out that there was some kind of infection in the cut, right? The way that I was diagnosed was I went into the app for my insurance company. I did a chat, I sent a picture. Okay, they emailed some kind of antibiotic. I picked it up and we're done. That's the full diagnosis. It was an app. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't see anybody. You understand what I'm saying? So now that we're moving into the digital age where everybody's kind of moving digitally, right? And then especially with you guys, when less people want to go into the hospitals, less people, because the pandemic, the hospital resources are pulled and strained, right? It's really, really important to be more visible in other places, right? But here's the other thing. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna move on. All right.
Okay.
When you're working in a hospital, right, they're feeding you patients, right? Based on the reputation and the credibility of the facility. When you decide to do something a little bit different or something outside of that, where's your feeder? Right?
You don't have one.
It's social media.
Yeah.
It's social media. So I'm going to say that and move on. So let's talk about social media. So it's very important for us to focus on creating content and things like that. But we also want to make sure that when people visit, right, your brand, that they actually know that it's you. They have a singular experience with your brand. So here we are, we've got your brand called Dr. Kanika MD across every platform, right? And I see that you've already uploaded some videos here. You've got some content here already ready. Oops, I didn't mean to do that, right? And I think that it's super important for us to look at the fact that when we go here, pay attention, right? This is YouTube. We're going to see a singular experience across platforms. All right. YouTube. Here we go right here. We've got LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is DEI leads, a lot of them are going to come from LinkedIn, right? A lot of them, if they want to, people who want to hire you to speak, they're going to go look for you on YouTube because they want to see what you see what you sound like.
Right.
Right. Then we got Facebook, which is right now the granddaddy. Okay. Still the granddaddy. So we're still getting these same images here across multiple platforms. And, I know y'all heard the rumors that Twitter is dead. It's not, right? It's not. Okay. So this is a consistent experience across multiple platforms. So once we understand where her audience is and how they see her and where they engage with her, she's ready. No matter where they connect with her, they understand that this is her, right? There could be another Dr. Kanika. There could be a fake account. There could be anything. We want to know who we're dealing with. All right. So now, that being said, how does it feel seeing yourself looking so like ready and professional? How does it feel?
It feels amazing because that's who I am. And so I look at the spaces and it's just like, I'm legit. And, so as you said previously, in a hospital, your brand is the organization that you work for.
Right.
But when you are doing consulting work, then you are the brand. And so I want people to know that when you get me, that this is what you're getting. And so I hope that my social media presence and even my website is just a glimpse at the quality that you'll get when you're working with me, that it just comes through at the very start, which is my social media platforms.
Yes, yes. And the final thing, which is the thing that we're most excited about, is your website. Okay, so let's just take a look at that. And I'm gonna close some of these. 3, 2, I know. I'm closing these windows because I want to make sure they're 1. All right, and blast off. Oops, and then I had the nerve to be on the wrong page. Okay, so let's do it. Let me refresh it so people get the full experience. Okay. So first of all, this is Dr. Kanika MD, DrKanika MD.com, board certified internal medicine doctor. Right. Look at this beautiful smile. And then we have diversity, equity, inclusion consultant. Yay. And you can book a consultation right here. Okay. All right. So this is some of the website. This is your introduction, how
Mm.
people can see you, where they can book. Okay. Um, let's chat. Her testimonials are here, right?
Mhm.
And this is really important. Content, right? We also have blog posts here, content, because this is another, you're going to see the theme is content, because this is another way for her to showcase her expertise. Okay. And then, of course, we go to about, which is all about who you are as a doctor. And here's where we have your formal bio, right? You as a doctor,
Mm.
right? And then we also have your brand story, which kind of tells your walk to get to where you are in life.
Right.
All right. And then how people can work with you, right? All right. So when people want to work with you, they can do the consulting, right? We've got different kinds of consulting, Equity in Motion, that's your program. And we can also do restorative justice and meditation workspace, a mediation workspace, sorry.
Mhm.
And then hire you as a speaker, right? And
Right.
so when you're building, we need something called social proof. That's why we want to speak, right? And we want to have media coverage. It's about, speaking is about showcasing your expertise, also about money, right? And we also have media coverage, which is basically social proof, right? This is you saying I'm qualified to talk about what I'm speaking on, right?
Right.
All right. And then blog, contact, and how people can contact you. So this is a great kind of walk on the wild side. And once again, we go back to the more personable brand on the contact page, because we want people to connect with you as an individual. And you got your little cell phone right here, for people to reach out to you. So that's pretty good. And then at some point, we're going to be working on all our products, right? You've got a book coming out. Tell us about the book, the name of the book, and what the book is about.
So the book is Diversity is Not a Dirty Word,
Okay.
and 7 Steps to Creating an Anti-Racist Organization. So I'm super excited for the book. I think it's going to be amazing. Of course, I'm biased, but I'm excited that that's going to be coming out as well.
All right. So that being said, I have something official. You are officially launched, Dr. Kanika. Congratulations on launching your new brand. Tell people once again where they can find you and find all your information.
So once again, clearly you know this, I'm Dr. Kanika, board certified internal medicine doctor, also diversity, equity, and inclusion strategist. And so you can reach me on all social media platforms at Dr. Kanika MD. You can also email me at info@drkanikamd.com. That's info@drkanikam.com. I would love to work with you. I'd love to know what your organization needs. Let me know how I can help you and your organization create more equitable, inclusive workspaces. I think we can do this together. So I'm super excited to be launching this website. So incredibly thankful for you, Jay. This was not an easy process for me, but the end result has been absolutely beautiful. And so it couldn't have happened without you. So I'm just really excited to see what the future holds. Yeah, so thanks.
Thanks. Okay, guys, that's it for us. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Say bye.
Bye. Thanks, guys.